Good afternoon. Good afternoon from beautiful Miami. My name is Maryam Isa Al Ali Zastipal. I put God first. This is my story, and I have a purpose. I help others embrace their authentic self to serve a bigger purpose. Everything I do in my life, from the minute I wake up in the morning to the minute I go to sleep at night, is in service of something bigger than who I am.
Let's go. And my name is Alexander Zastipal. My purpose is to bring out the strength in others so they can take full control over their life and gain all rights to their existence. And today is about
control.
Being a control freak.
Are you a control freak? Exactly. Are you a control freak? And by the way, guys, this is a Clear and Conquer Live. We come to you guys every single Tuesday at 12 p.m. Eastern. That's
God
9
first.
p.m. Dubai time. God's first. So with that, guys, today's topic, as Alex mentioned, is about being a control freak. Are you in control? Do you want control? Or they told you control is bad. Control is not right. Control is not good. So we're gonna go ahead and start by the definitions before we go deep dive into the content. I hope you guys have a pen and a paper because this is going to be such a great control freaky topic.
Control freaky topic.
Let's
yes.
go, guys. Let's go.
Go ahead.
So,
Abhijit.
what is control? When I say I am in control, I have control. What does it mean? It means you have the power to direct and influence. That's what it means. You say I am in control. I have control. It means you have the power to direct something or influence it. This could be in the physical unit, or it could be something within, which we're going to talk about a lot today.
100%. So you can think of it as a physical control or your mental control. Like if I start going like this, I'm now having the power or influence to move Maryam, right?
Yeah.
Or the more topic that we're talking about today is literally being a control freak about your mind, your money, right? Your bank account, your responsibilities. We're talking about all of this today because a lot of you should ask yourself, do you have control over the really important things in your life? You know, your marriage, right? Or are you always reacting towards each other and yelling at each other? That's not control, right? If you're screaming at each other at the top of your lungs constantly, that's not control. If you don't have your finances in place, if they're all over the place and there's recklessness involved, I would consider that not having control over that, right?
100%.
So ask yourself those questions.
I love that. So I think you should go ahead and start with number one.
Sure, I can definitely do that. So number one, being a control freak. You know, why are we telling you guys to be a control freak, right? So you are either in control of your responsibilities or you are not, right? You are either in control of your responsibilities or you are not. There's no in between. Think about it. If there's an in between, that's considered no control, not having control to me. Having total control over something is having total 100% control over it. So, for example, let's use the finances again. If I say I'm in pretty good control with it, you're not in complete control with it, right? Like it's pretty good. Whenever you say it's pretty good or you know I'm doing okay, that's not a 100% answer. It's not conviction. You're not telling me like, oh yeah, I'm in 100% control over my finances.
Right.
In fact, it's going very well. Everything's going great, right? And maybe it's not right now for you. That would indicate to me that you don't have control over your money, right? So very important to be a control freak about every aspect of your life, because if you're not, you're in the opposite position of that. You're not in control.
Wow. So again, your control is dependent 100% on how responsible you are. The more responsible, the more responsibilities you take about your life, the more control you actually have. You know, when you say, oh my gosh, no, it's not my responsibility, so you are giving out control. Oh my God, I'm sorry, Maryam, I came to the meeting 1 hour late because it was raining. So you're not in control because you're not responsible, right? Alex and I, before we go anywhere, we check the weather forecast. We don't want to be late anywhere. We used to be very bad at this, by the way. We used to show up late and say, oh no, it's okay, it's culture, no problem. Our friends will be okay if we are late. That's not okay, because this means I'm not taking responsibility. I am not in control. And when you are not in control, allow things to happen to you instead of you actually taking charge of that.
Yeah, 100%. And Miriam's got a really good point here. Like if you're showing up late to appointments, I mean, this is every area of life. Like I hope you guys know this. So you have to like look at every avenue. It can't just be just for your finances or just your marriage. Because guess what happens when one area suffers? It brings down the other areas.
True.
Right? If there's a lot of like turmoil and danger and bad things happening in one area, what's it going to do to the rest of the areas? So for those that think that, oh, if I have a lot of money, I'm going to be good, or if I have just a successful marriage, if my kids get to the best college, everything else is going to be fine. You guys have to consider all the areas, your spirituality, your relationship with your religion. Like you have to look at that, your health, right? If my health is doing terrible, it doesn't matter how much money I have, right? I'm going to be dead pretty soon,
Right.
And that's not being very freaky, right? Like I want to be freaky in every area of life. I want to be a control freak, right? I want to get freaky in every area of my life because it is going to impact the other areas. So if I improve one area, all the other areas are going to get better. It's the opposite.
Right.
If I have control over my health, all the other areas are going to get better. I want to tell you guys a quote by Grant Cardone that he always tells us. And it is, how you do one thing is how you do everything. Write this down on a piece of paper. How you do one thing is how you do everything. So if one area is suffering, right, what do the other areas look like? Right? So, and you guys all know people that have a very successful marriage, right? Or a very successful, like their kids are ultra successful, or maybe the person that you're thinking of has a lot of money, but their relationship is not very good.
True.
Right? What's the point? Right? What's the point of suffering and being so stressed about money and having a good relationship until you guys are so stressed about money that your relationship starts failing? Number one cause of divorce in America is financial adultery.
Wow.
Okay? So just consider that.
I love that. Thank you so much for sharing all that information, Alex. And again, well, the way you do one thing, the way you do everything, you are in control of one area. You might as well be controlling all the other areas. It means that you are responsible. One thing I want to bring attention to here, sometimes when you are not in control and you're allowing things to happen to you, for example, when you are at work and you are not in control of your situation at work, you come back to an environment that you think you have control in it, and you control it in a way that is not right. You control it in a way that is not right. Like, for example, your boss at work started shouting at you. You didn't know what to say back. You come back home and you start saying things that you're not supposed to be saying at home because you're not taking responsibility of it, because you're not actually owning it. And again, so the thing is that the way you do one thing definitely is the way you do everything.
100%. And one more thing that I'll add to that is control does not mean again, yelling and reacting and being like if I'm gonna control Miriam, I'm not like, that's not how it works. I don't just like go and control Miriam. I want to control myself so I can influence Miriam to start making better decisions to build, right?
Right.
Like if I'm going to have control over the situation, I want to not be screaming at Miriam. If I'm like, oh my God, I cannot believe you did this. I told you 5 times. All this, yeah, maybe I'm thinking I'm controlling Miriam or something.
Yeah.
But what's happening to myself? Do you think I'm actually in control of myself if I'm like yelling at her and we're having a screaming match and like going at it and we're not throwing fists, but man, the air is moving pretty fast. Like it's throwing the air is moving and throwing fists at each other.
Right.
So that's not having control, you guys. Okay, having control is controlling yourself first, so you can control the situation in your physical environment.
I love that. I really love that. So with that, Alex, I think we should move to the second
Yes.
one.
Do you want me to read all of them, by the way, because it's my handwriting?
Sure. I mean,
Okay.
I can read.
Okay,
so.
go ahead.
I mean, I can read number 2. I don't know about number 3. Number 3 looks weird.
Okay.
Number 2,
Thank
I can read. So the second thing that you need to understand when coming to you becoming a control freak, you expect. Never mind. Read number 2. I don't even know if expect is
okay, yeah, expect average or less results when you do not have total control.
Oh my gosh, you don't get results, you're not in control.
Mm-hmm.
This is a huge, guys. If you are not getting results, you are not in control. So expect average results. Expect results below the average when you have no total control. And when Alex talks about total, he means total, right? An example, very simple example, the house, your house. Look at the place you are in right now. Where are you? Are you in your office? Are you in your house? How organized is it?
Mhm.
It depends on how much control you have over that environment. Look at the environment you are in right now. I mean, we are looking at our environment. It's pretty much clean, like everything is clean, the table, the papers, we know exactly what's in here. There is nothing here scattered around or things are cluttered or we don't know what's happening. We know, like we are in control of our physical environment. When you are in control of your physical environment, you can get in control with everything else. There are some people who would say, oh no, Maryam, I'm an organized mess. It's a mess. I know what everything else, it's a mess. It's a mess, and you're not in control because you are programming your mind to tell yourself, you know what, I can be messy and successful. I'm telling you, when you don't know where is your, where your deals are, where the contracts are, when you don't know where your proposals are at, when you don't know where your important documents are at, when something happens and oh my God, you need to go ahead and go to some for example, to some entity and they need some papers and it takes you like 2 days to find papers, you're not in control, Habibi. You know, all of our important documents in our house, we know it is where it is exactly. Our clothing, we know where they are. We know where everything is. It's not like, oh my God, I think it's in the black box somewhere. What a black box? I don't know, right? So the idea of it, guys, is when you are in total control of your environment, expect what we call it 10x results. They're not going to be average. They're not going to be below average because you are in control of that environment. Your control of the environment gets resulted in the result. Okay. Your control of the environment gets reflected in the result. Let's put it this way.
Yes,
yeah.
yes.
Your control over the environment, your control over yourself gets reflected on the results that you see.
100%. Maryam brings up such a great point. Your physical environment is a reminder of what's going on up in here too. I used to think this didn't matter, to be really honest with all of you guys. I used to think that this wasn't a big deal until I found out exactly what happens when you do have control over everything else. So we're obsessed with this. Like, again, the title is Control Freaks, right? We're freaks about this because you have to be, because if you're not, it's going to be the opposite. You're not going to be in control. That's what's going to happen. And then everything's a mess. And one thing that I learned from our mentor, Brandon Dawson, is he said, where there is confusion, there is failure. So if there's confusion all around you, there's going to be failure. Mm-hmm. You have to have you have to have things in place, in order, right? And your mind needs to be in order, but your physical environment is a reminder of what your mind looks like too. Okay, that's like crazy. wait. So, but I will add this, you guys. This does come first, right? We do have to get this in order, right? I need to get my mind in order because if this isn't in order, most likely everything else isn't either. So that actually is senior, just to be extremely clear about that. But Maryam, talking about, having a clean environment, like I hope you guys maybe have come to a realization or you're like, yeah, I have complete control over my physical environment. But most likely there's some things that you have been putting off, whether it's the laundry that's sitting in the dryer still, whether it's the laundry sitting on your floor, whether it is your kitchen that hasn't been cleaned in 2 weeks, whether it is even just something simple as notebooks scattered all over the place. It's a reminder that there's scatter and confusion, right? And again, when there's confusion, there's failure. So I really like that you brought that up, Mary.
It's very, you said something very profound as well, Alex, here. You said it's also a reflection of what's going on in your mind, which again, very nicely goes to number 3 here.
Yes.
And I believe like this, when you actually get control of your physical environment, it's a reflection of how you are in control of your mental environment, if you would like to say, and so on and so forth.
Yeah,
go ahead.
100%.
Yeah, say number 3. I think number 3 is time for number 3 now.
Yes, absolutely. So number 3, being a control freak. We're talking about being a control freak today, you guys. Be a control freak. Okay. Number 3 is bad things happen when you do not have control, right? And it can't be, it doesn't, or sorry, it doesn't have to be like something catastrophic, like you go bankrupt. Like that's definitely not having control, but it's the little simple things too, right? Bad things happen. I'll give you guys an example. When I didn't know about this, like earlier on when I first started in sales, there was a deal I could have closed for that would have changed a big portion of the of my life, right? It was a bigger commission, you know, and I would have been able to help them. But me, I wasn't organized, and I didn't have the payment ready for them. And in like a few seconds, they changed their mind. Like they were sold on it. They wanted to do it. They wanted me to help them. They knew I was the right person. This was like 4 years ago, but it didn't happen because I didn't have my stuff in place. Like I didn't have the contract ready. I didn't have the payment ready. I was new, okay, but I didn't have any of that stuff ready, right? And that was a huge mistake. And maybe this has happened in your life. It doesn't have to even be in sales. It's just even your physical environment. You lose something, and you have to go buy it again. And it's bad things happen when you're not in absolute control. I'll give you one more example here. When my mind is going all over the place and it's not in control, I usually don't get very much done in those moments. So I have to literally center myself and start touching something, like start, having the power over something. I need to go wash the dishes. I need to go do laundry, something to get back in control, or make a phone call, whatever it is at that time of day. I need to get in control. Yes. Because if I am not, nothing happens. Like a whole bunch of random motion is happening, a whole bunch of randomness, nothing is happening. That's the problem. Okay, so bad things happen when you're not in total control. And you can apply this to any area of your life. If you're not in total control of your marriage and the person goes and cheats on you, it's also your fault too. You weren't in control. You weren't giving it your all, obviously, right? It's a hard truth, but it is the truth. You're also partially responsible for that.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
So here's the other thing. Like when it comes to bad things happening to you when you are not in control, you will notice what Alex just mentioned, a random motion. Oh my God, I need to make the call. Oh my God, I need to do the dishes. Oh my God, I don't know. My friends, I need to meet them tonight. Oh, I think I have an appointment with the salon. Oh my God, there's a lot going on. And then you're like, you're freaking out. You don't know what to do. You think, oh my God, you think the world is going to come to an end. One thing you can get back in control is simple. Bring a piece of paper and write down, what do I need to do? What do I need to do? What should I be in control? What should I do? Alexa, now we have a list of 7 things we need to do today. Trust me, like when we first got together, it was like 25.
Yeah, and it's main targets.
Yes, right. So when you are not in control, bad things will happen. And by the way, sometimes you don't even know if it's happening or not. I'm going to tell you, next time you are in the kitchen, you want to hold something and it falls, like you are trying to hold the spoon, or you're trying to put water into the cup and then you miss it, you're not in control. So that's an earlier indication that you are not in control. Yesterday, I was running, 2 days ago, I was running the speaking master class. And literally here, I wanted to, I think, pull the chair, so do something. And I was a little bit nervous not to join the session on time. And when I'm nervous, when you're nervous, you're not in control. When you are nervous, you are not in control. It means something you have not prepared for, right? So imagine I did something here and I literally hurt my hand here. Literally, my hand got squashed between the chair and the edge of a table here. And I literally, I'm like, okay, I'm not in control of something. Okay, I'm not in control of something. So if you are not in control, it's going to be also reflected in your physical environment. We mentioned it earlier. If your house is not organized, it's also reflected in your mind. You know, if you do something, suddenly something falls, you fall, you triple down and you fall without a reason. You're fit, you're everything. You go to the gym, you work out, and you fell down. What are you not in control of? Especially if you get upset about it. If your tone becomes really low when you fall down, or whatever it is, and you feel like, what's happening here? and you started getting upset, you're not in control.
Mm.
So it's an earlier indication that you need to get back in control and understand what you are not in control of.
Yeah, 100%. And again, like this can be something like hitting your hand. It can be your physical environment. It can be something catastrophic too. And also what I heard Miriam saying here now is it actually starts with small things. So it's really important to catch those small things, because otherwise you end up getting hurt, right? And there's probably something even before Miriam hitting her hand that maybe she wasn't in control of, right? And it's just being really aware of this. Like, I'm not telling you guys that there's no such thing as perfect. I'm definitely not telling you that, okay?
Right.
You're definitely going to make mistakes. That's fine, right? But at least be in control, right? At least own the mistake. Like, hey, that was my mistake. That means you were in control of that mistake. But if you assign the mistake to someone else, if you give it away, you're assigning responsibility to someone else, which is bringing me to the next point here.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, me too. Honestly, because I do this sometimes too. I will take responsibility of not taking responsibility. Being a control freak. This is what we're talking about today. Be a control freak, right? It's so important. And number 4 is take control and responsibility. Do not wait for it, right? Take control and responsibility. Do not wait for it. What do I mean by this? It's very deep, but if I am waiting for someone to either take responsibility or control or give me the control, I'm never going to be in control. For example, if there's something that I did, or maybe even that Miriam did, I'm just using us two, I'm not going to wait for her to give me control over the situation. I need to take responsibility and take control immediately, because otherwise I am the effect of the situation and I'm not cause over my own self. Like, I'm not in control. I'm not the cause anymore at that point. As soon as I assign the responsibility to someone else, is the exact moment I assign responsibility to someone else, or sorry, that I become a victim, right? And by being a victim means you're the effect of things. That means you're not in control. That means you're allowing other people to do the manipulation to you. You're allowing other people to affect you. And that's not good, because that means you're not being yourself. You're not in control of yourself. You're not actually having your own thoughts. You're not thinking for yourself. All those things start to happen. And man, I have had this drilled into my head, because it was really hard to overcome this, because it is really, really easy. And I do it sometimes still. I will take responsibility for that. I do it sometimes. I'm like, no, it was Miriam's fault. Miriam doesn't understand what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And now I'm starting to react too at this point. Like, I'm becoming not logical at all. Like, I'm just like, you know, that's what my brain starts doing, and nothing ends up happening. Like, we go nowhere really fast. And that's my fault, because I didn't look to understand what Miriam was saying. I didn't take any of the fault or the responsibility. I was like, no, it's Miriam. No, she was the one that left the cupboard open. And that's what started all of this.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. But she never does that, by the way. But, you know, whatever it is, I'm like, you know, and then all of a sudden, nothing's happening. We're not getting anywhere really fast. And Miriam's my wife. So like, what are we doing here? Like, I don't need to like, you know, react like that. But taking responsibility is something that is just extremely important in every single situation. Go ahead. Actually, go ahead.
Yeah, we're gonna address the questions in like a second. So thank you for the question.
Yeah.
The next one is, as again, just want to add to that part. It's amazing what happens when you take responsibility and control of something before anything bad happens. Okay, because you don't wait for it. Like, again, it's beautiful when you go ahead and initiate taking the responsibility for something. Not because, here's the thing, when you initiate taking the responsibility of something, it means that you are there and you know how to get the things done. If you are part of a team, let's say, and you feel like the numbers are going down as a leader, and instead of you going firing people, take responsibility of it. See what you have done with it, how you can help, like how can you help them? Is there a misinformation there? Any failure in business? I heard this from Sherry Hamilton the other day, the licensee call. The CEO of Cardon Enterprises, she said, If you are not getting the results, there is something that is not communicated. And when something is not communicated, you're not in control. And sometimes we think, oh no, the person got my point. Maybe they didn't. How do you know they got the point? How do you know that they actually got the point across? So when you take control and responsibility, and you're not waiting for it, you are literally initiating more success to take place. Alex and I are always ready for this. Like, I'm going to take full responsibility. If, for example, Alex is talking to me and then he left the cup there and I don't like cups there. So instead of me saying, oh, Alex, he never put the cup back into its place, I could say, okay, fine, I'll take it. It's not a big deal. It's not a big deal. And if it really bothers me, I have to go communicate about it. I don't assume, and then suddenly I'm angry at the guy, and I don't know what I'm doing, and I'm acting up, and he doesn't know why his wife is being like an angry Tweety. That's how I look like when I'm angry. I look like an angry Tweety.
An angry Tweety.
Oh, okay, fine. Anyways, so that's what I want to talk about. Number 4. Number 5.
So real quick here. So the difference between taking control of everything versus delegating. It's understanding what each person's roles and responsibilities are. So like in a company, you want to know what responsibilities and roles one of your employees has. In our relationship, we want to know like what our roles and responsibilities are, and we take responsibility for each of them. Now in a relationship, I really, really always try to take responsibility because I'm the one that also agreed to get married, right? I'm also I'm the one that came to this agreement that we're going to be in this relationship and building all the things we're building. Now I'm going to look at what I did first, because if I don't, I'm going to be, doing the blame game, and then if one other thing I'm going to see when I've done it in my own past too, the same thing that maybe Miriam has done, or the same thing we're disagreeing on. When have I done this myself, right? Because it's going to make it look smaller. But delegating is going to be, delegating roles and responsibilities once you outgrow them, like in a company. But I'm the one that decided to hire that employee too.
Right.
So it's like I assign fault to myself and then see what I can do about the situation. I want to take control over it. So if I have to correct the person, I'm going to do that in private. If I have to maybe hire someone else, like they're not living up to the things that we agreed on, accountability, results. Maybe they're not taking responsibility to themselves, right? We came to agreements so we could each have our own responsibilities as well. So that's how I separate the two of them. We had a question, but taking control and responsibility, I want to take control over the situation. I want to have complete control over the company. Because if I don't, someone else is, and then you're going to come to a point when stuff hits the fan, when things go really bad, and there's going to be indecision, right? So one person has to make that decision. It can't be two people, because otherwise you're going to go in two directions and the company is going to fall.
Right. That's amazing. And that's a great question, by the way. Like when you're taking control, again, even when you are delegating, it's a type of control. Like for example, and again, it started with what you said, like assigning roles and responsibility. In our company, I have nothing to do with the finances. This is delegated to Alex, and he's controlling it.
Miriam did finance. Miriam did accounting for 8 years, and she didn't like it.
I have 300 misunderstood words. No wonder I'm not good at it. Anyways, a topic for another day. But anyway, so going back to this point is that when you are in control, when you are delegating, you are literally in control, because when you delegate, you don't say, okay, take this document, go ahead, know exactly how to operate this plane. That's not delegating. Delegating means if you communicate it verbally, and then you have a documentation maybe to go ahead and approve it, and you start communicating it again and again and again. That's what control means. Like I can, for example, I have an employee. Again, I'm responsible because I hired the employee. I'm in control. I'm going to delegate certain things to this employee, let's say. Okay, good. I'm delegating these things. I'm in control. I'm delegating. But did I actually communicate properly as I'm delegating to this employee? Or I'm just going ahead and saying, when they make a mistake, I will say, oh my God, that was a bad employee. You're the one who hired. Or for example, you're in a relationship and your husband doesn't know what you're saying. I'm in control. I'm in control. I'm gonna take responsibility and say, you know what, it was me. I didn't communicate it properly. And one thing I would like to share as well about Sherry Hamilton, she said, if you think you communicated, you didn't. Because when you communicate, you know you actually communicated, you're taking control of it, you are communicated to the person, and they're executing on it. That's how you know you communicated right. Sometimes, you know, when we talk about certain things, and like, I asked Alex, for example, Alex, I want you to get me chocolate. He gets me, let's say, Mars. I don't like Mars. Mars chocolate. You know what Mars chocolate is?
No, but that's okay.
Okay, good. You
I won't
don't
get
need to
it.
know. So, yeah, so for example, he gets me Mars. I didn't communicate to him that I want Ferrero Rocher. You know, I didn't communicate that. So at that point, when I'm angry at Alex, I'm not in control because I'm not taking responsibility, right? So that's number 4. Let's go to number 5.
Well, one more thing with that. So, with that too, there's one thing that Grant told. I think you asked Grant a question at one of the masterminds we were at, but he responded with this quote: "Wherever you go, there you are." So whenever things are happening in our lives, bad or good, we're there every single time. If I go out in the hallway and then something bad happens to me, I'm not in this live anymore, and I'm like, Miriam just told me, you know, to go out in the hallway, and now I got robbed, right? I'm out in the hallway still. Or if something good happens, like a package arrives, there I am, I'm out in the hallway. Or, you know, so every single time something bad or good happens in our lives, we're there every time. That's what it means. Like, we're involved in the situation every time.
Right.
Like, I wonder who caused this time.
Right. Yeah. How should
And
I
I'm
blame?
like, I'm looking in the mirror. I'm like, I don't know. Miriam, you know, she's a real, you know, I don't know why she does this all the time. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I'm looking in the mirror. I'm like, you know, but it's funny, but like it like every single time something bad or good happens, we're involved. And one more thing I'll add to that is the devil tries to get in the way, and God tries to help us. And we have this thing called the power of choice, and we can go this way or this way. And we made that choice. I'm not going to blame God or the devil because I ultimately made that decision. They were trying to influence me, though. You know, they were trying to have control. Well, not control, but like they were trying to influence me, both of them. I wouldn't say control. That's the wrong word. But they were trying to influence me. God's like, no, you should do this.
Right.
This is the way. And the devil's like, this is a shiny, shiny object over here.
Right.
Look at this. Look at this. Are you sure?
Yeah.
And he's like being nice about it, right? He's like, He's not like, go do this, you know? No, it's like, look at this. Look at this. Come over here. Come over here.
Right.
And I'm like, ooh, you know, or I'm like, no. And I'm like, I choose to go over here.
Right. I love that. I love that analogy. But again, by the end of the day, you have the power of choice. It's you choosing.
Yeah.
You're choosing to be in this, whether you're watching the live or you're watching the archive somewhere, you're choosing to be, it's a choice. You know, you are in a situation or not, it's your choice. You drank that cup of coffee this morning or not, that was your choice. God gave you the choice. Now it's your choice. So if something if something bad happened to you, it is results of your own work. Something good happened, it results of your own work and goes back to your level of control. If you're not in control, someone else is in control, or you're gonna blame someone else for the reason you're not in control.
Yeah, and before we go to the next point, the more you hear this too, the more you like think about this and really like internalize this, the more control and responsibility you have too.
Right.
Because in the beginning, when I started hearing this, I'm like, a lot of this doesn't make any sense.
Right.
Because sometimes it doesn't, because you're like, well, if the employee did that, then how am I responsible for that? You know, they should have a level of responsibility, but that's their choice. What can I do to get control over the situation and be the cause over that? Right. Maybe they've done it so many times and they're not taking any responsibility. I need to take control and fire them.
Right.
Or maybe I forgot to tell them something. I forgot to communicate something, like Miriam said. Maybe I forgot something. I needed to look like, did I not communicate something? Did I not tell something? Like I will look at myself every time, like, what did I do wrong? Like, dang, like I need to figure out what I did wrong first, you know? So I'm going to ask myself those questions. Anyways, let's go to the fifth one. We're talking about being a control freak, you guys.
Let's go.
We're getting freaky up in here. Being a control freak. Number 5 is people who do not like to take responsibility also do not like control. Right? This is actually from our mentor, Grant. There's a piece in his book, Be Obsessed or Be Average, where he talks about this. But I wanted to add this to you guys, for you guys too, because like it's the people that don't want to take responsibility, because responsibility is in increments, by the way. The higher the responsibility, the more control you actually are going to have. But the people that want to stay way low down don't need to take any very much responsibility, or so they think, right? Because they don't want to be responsible for other people. They want to stay small. But then those same people complain about the market crashing, gas prices, how that's like ruining their lives. You know, the government did this to me. All these different, those are the same people saying those same comments.
Right.
Because they're not taking any responsibility. If they took responsibility and control over the situation, they could be like, you know what, this is happening, but I need to take control over the situation. Otherwise, my employees are going to be out of a job, and that's my fault. I'm the business owner of the company.
Wow.
Right? That's not their fault. I can't blame them for watching the news. I can't control them. That they're going to go watch the news. They're going to be influenced by all of this. I need to be the role model. I need to be the influencer in the situation so they can see what an example is, even in an economy like this.
Wow. Like again, that I hope that you guys are taking notes. By the way, for those who are tuning in just now, this is the Clear and Conquer Live. We come to you guys every single Tuesday at 12 p.m. Eastern. That's 9 p.m. Dubai time. With that being said, Alex, like I've noticed that people who are taking zero responsibility of their life, they don't like control. Like I've seen it in my life. I used to be one of them too.
Me too, by the way, you guys.
Oh my gosh. No, not me.
100%.
It's my line manager. It's my line manager. Oh my God. It's that traffic. That traffic is insane. I'm taking zero responsibility. Oh my God. I failed with that friend. It's, oh my God. Oh, they're bad. Oh my gosh. They're bad. Oh my goodness. And I don't want to take control. I don't want to take responsibility. It means I don't want to take control. And you know what? The same problem will keep appearing until you recognize it. You know?
That's a good point.
And the same problem. You're not in control, Habibi. It's going to keep on showing up until you get control. It's going to keep showing up. Now, Alex and I, every time, for example, we are facing something in our life or in business, the first question is, how are we responsible for this? How did we cause this? How did we cause this?
Crazy.
You know, it's hard, by the way, guys, in that moment when things are not going right, I'm like, what did we do? How are we responsible? And we sit and we drill and we look and we experience and we check. And then we take responsibility and take action. Action that we are in control of, right? For example, if someone is, and this is an example, if someone, for example, is not showing up to your appointments, you're always getting appointments in the calendar, but they are not showing up. They keep changing. They're canceling on you. Who are you canceling on? You're canceling on someone. That's why it gets reflected in your life now. You know, you're saying, you're talking to clients. Clients say, oh my gosh, I don't have the money. I don't have the money. I don't have the money. When in your life you say, I don't have the money. You know, you say, for example, oh my gosh, like someone gives you a reason why they cannot come, let's say for, let's see. I'm trying to find an example. I cannot even figure out anything.
Those are good examples.
The point is like, if you are not in control, you are not in control when you don't take responsibility. So the first thing Alex and I do, and guys, it's hard. It's not easy. But it's good when you have a partner who you are aligned with, right? It's hard. It's not easy to say, oh my God, how are we the causation of this? I don't like this question. But I know we're causing it. We're causing it, right? We're causing it. I'll give you a very simple example. One time, when Alex and I started, we got married and everything, and I was figuring out a lot of different things here. And so I would go with Alex all the time, and he would be paying for things, and that's fine. I mean, he's the man. But every time I would be like, oh, we need to order a credit card. We need to order a credit card. But I've never ordered a credit card because I don't need to, right? I had my own one from Dubai, but I mean, you know. And then I started calling people. And what is their objection? I don't have the card on me. Mariam, I don't have the card on me.
I remember this now.
Oh yeah, I don't have the card. Oh Mariam, I don't have the card on me. I'm sorry, Mariam, call me tonight. I don't have my card. And then
multiple people.
Like three people in like 2 days. And then I'm sitting with Alex. I'm like, how am I causing this? I'm like, do I have a problem with my card? I'm like, oh, Alex, let's order the card. Let's order the card for me. I'm not going to use it anyways, but I don't want this to be a reason. So I ordered the card. No, not order. We went to the bank.
Yeah, we went to
the bank and we got the card immediately.
Which is free to get the card, and it costs you your time, but
yeah. And that objection never surfaced again. There was even one guy who I closed the other day. He didn't have his credit card on him, literally, but he had it saved in his phone. Auto payment. I'm telling you, we are the causation of everything. Take control. But if I say, oh my God, what's up with all those people? They all don't have money. We all don't have money. That was like, this situation happened like months ago, but I still remember it. I'm like, all those people don't have money? Come on now. It's me. How did I cause it? Oh, I don't really say that I don't have a card, but it's in my mind. Oh, I need to order a card. Alex and I, we need to go to the bank. We need to go to the bank. We need to go to the bank. But we never do. You are the causation of everything. So when you take responsibility, you take control and you take action. Your control gets reflected on an action that you take, going to the bank and ordering a new card, you know? And they gave it to us immediately. I was like, oh, wow.
Which was awesome.
I'm like, wow, we don't have to go. We don't have to wait for like 3-4 days. When you take actions, guys, things speed up for you.
Yeah.
But if you start acting like a little coward, it's not going to happen. Go ahead, sorry.
100%. No, so just reflect on all the things we have been saying, you guys. If you missed a piece of this, go ahead and rewatch. And there's actually a video that I've watched over 100 times on responsibility. William knows which one I'm talking about. And shout out to William. He's our producer of this show. He's our one of our best friends that we have. He's amazing. It's really, really hard to find him, though. You have to go at Wi-Fi on Instagram.
Yeah, it's very hard. He's
very difficult.
20 digits.
Yeah, 20 digit. It's 535. Just kidding. It's at Wi-Fi on Instagram.
Yes.
He put it up there for you. It's just at Wi-Fi on Instagram. It's the easiest thing you can do.
All right.
Go follow him. He's a very supportive person. He always is there for you. So and that's, I said how you do one thing is how you do everything. So if he's doing that with his friendships, think about how he treats his clients.
Let's go. I love that.
Yeah.
I love that.
So anyways, if you guys missed any of it, go ahead and rewatch it. It's on our YouTube channel. We go live every single Tuesday at noon Eastern, and that's 9 p.m. UAE time. That's noon Eastern, 9 p.m. UAE time. I don't know if you have anything else to add. I'll give the control over to you for a second here.
No, I'm giving you back control because I've said a lot of different things. One thing I know that maybe I can leave everybody with here is your results in your life right now is reflected on how much control you have in your life. So that's all what I can.
I love that. Thank you all for joining. Join us every single Tuesday at noon Eastern, 9 p.m. UAE time. And one more thing, if you need to get a hold of us, it's clearandconquer.com/contact. If you need anything from us, mentorship, accountability, we have speaking masterclasses. If you need help with communication, if you need help going live like this, right? If you want the confidence to do that, if you need you to get in touch with William, anything you guys need, it's clearandconquer.com/contact, and we'll have our team reach out to you. Thank you for joining, everybody, and be great.
Let's go conquer.